not good like 1 out of 100?
I'd say
Rainbow Six Siege 2 has been leaked and is coming in year 10.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Oh, I'm not saying just a chance. I'm telling you we're saved. So, if you've been active in the different Siege communities outside the game for around the last week, then there's a pretty high chance that you've heard of a rumor going around, that being a possibility for Siege 2 coming out at the start of year 10. Now, initially when I heard this rumor, my immediate reaction was, okay, this is just free HOPIUM for Siege players, as the current state of the game with the anti-cheat and recent history of Ubisoft's lazy development would make sense for players to really be grabbing for straws, or really just looking for any reason to reinstate hope into Siege. But nonetheless, the first screenshot I came across was apparently of an account of a Siege developer who had been working on Siege 2 for around the last 4 years. And based on what I'm about to read to you, I couldn't help but let myself believe that there was a possibility it could be real. But with no valid source, I couldn't be sure. But anyways, here's what the screenshot said. Alright, so this account is assumedly from a guy in the Siege Discord who claims to be a developer for Siege 2.0. I don't know if that's the actual name, but we're just gonna go with that. Siege 2, Siege 2.0. Anyways, the leak starts with the following paragraph. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege Siege 2 is nearing completion after over 4 years of development. The project began when dev members were gradually pulled off the main team to start work on the sequel. Built on the Snowdrop engine, the new in-house engine that was used to build X-Defiant. The original Siege's source code had significant issues, so this time we built it from the ground up with an in-house anti-cheat system. And that line right there is what really raised some questions and skepticism from me, as that's probably got to be the #1 thing on most players' wish list, is a better anti-cheat system inside Siege. Anyways, let's keep going. Initially, we planned to announce it at the SiegeX Invitational 2024 in Brazil, but due to some development hiccups, we're now on track to announce it at the SiegeX Invitational 2025 in Boston, Massachusetts. This event will be the final Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege esports event, transitioning directly into the full launch of Siege 2. So I'm assuming that he doesn't literally mean that it's the last esports event in Siege history that we're going to see. I imagine what he meant is this is the last Pro League event we're going to see for the original Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. From this point forward, meaning that we will see all esports events inside the revamped Siege. And then it continues, for obvious reasons, I can't disclose all the information I know. Only a handful of Ubisoft Montreal employees have access to the details I've shared. I'm trying to have this information leaked because I'm witnessing the game I worked so hard and struggled to make, and the community is losing faith. Currently, 90% plus of our team is focused on Siege 2, with almost everyone having moved on from the original Siege. So these last couple of lines here really make this account quite believable. Since the decline of Siege around the time before Jinxie really blew up, the game was in a terrible state, losing tons of players and really nearing death. It came very close. Now, I'm not saying this is when the decline started, but at this point, it's hard for Ubisoft to ignore what the state of their game had went to. And for so long, it seemed like they had just had their head buried in the sand, really just ignoring people's complaints, what the player base wanted, etc. It seemed like they really didn't care for a while and mostly just focused on cosmetics and how to make more money via the game. But realistically, the account of the developer who claims to be working on Siege 2.0 would make sense that their reaction to the steep player base fall off would in turn means something like putting more resources into revamping the game to improve overall quality of life and bring back those lost players. I personally know many friends who have left Siege since the start of year 9 for mostly quality of life issues. The cheaters, the disconnecting, pretty much random bullshit glitchy stuff that should not be in a game of this level. But anyways, when I initially read this leak, I really wasn't convinced. I thought, okay, this could easily be made up. We don't know what the source is from. We don't really know. And if you're still not convinced yet, then I've got some pretty significant proof to show you. And if seeing isn't believing, then I don't know what is, because you don't just fake stuff like this. Now, I know I'm not the first person to discover this or cry out with 100% certainty that this is real. All I'm trying to do is just spread the message to my viewer base and hopefully new people who haven't heard it yet, so that way they can get hyped and hopefully get their hopes up to maybe come back to the game if they've left it since, it kind of went to shit. And so I'm going to be fully transparent about this. All the following images you're about to see are not something I discovered on my own. I give all credit to Kian Chopper. He is a great Siege leaker. He came out with a short a couple months ago explaining the new Hereford base event before anyone had any idea that was coming. And that absolutely proved to be true. He had screenshot leaks in game, and that's why I'm really trusting this as a valid source. So anyways, in this recent YouTube short he made, he went over quite a few screenshots showing the new Siege's lighting and graphics. One of the first images we can see is an update picture of Ram, which if you know what Ram looks like in the current version of Siege, we can tell that her skin, face, and gear all has a much more clear, smoother texture to it than in the current present version of the game. And then after he shows the Ram picture, we can see a clearly visually differently looking version of the CEO executive office site on Bank. Like, as we can tell, we have all these lights going around the top of the room that were not present in the earlier version of the game. And if we look further into the back of the site, we can see that the lighting is a lot more shadowy and I'd say a lot less even from room to room than in the present version of the game. This is by far one of the coolest pictures I've seen so far and has given me the most faith in this being real. The only thing questionable is if the lighting is too good and ends up obscuring operators in the new game, but we'll see. I'm sure Ubisoft has thought of something to deal with that. In this next screenshot, we can see what the new lighting engine looks like on what appears to be some kind of black ice or glacier version of a weapon skin, but in my opinion, that looks pretty fucking crazy. Like, basically we're getting RTX shaders on skins in the new Siege, so I'm really hyped for this. Or imagine black ice in Siege 2. I think that's going to be crazy. And here we can see another picture of Ram inside the piano room on Cafe. Not much different than the first screenshot of Ram, but still, this looks pretty crazy. And that is all the screenshots I have at the moment, I believe. But yeah, I'd say at this point, we're looking at a full reveal of Siege 2 coming on Sunday. And I don't know if it's going to be called Siege 2. I've seen some reports and claims that it's going to be called SiegeX. But in my opinion, it would just make sense to call it Siege to make it kind of like a general overall brand. But anyways, I think that's about it, guys. I really just wanted to cover this and get this out there to people who haven't heard about it yet. And to just get people excited about the major finale coming up here on Sunday. Make sure you tune in to see which team is going to claim the trophy this year. And also to see any new Siege announcements being made. And at this point, I'd say it's almost 100% likely that we're going to be seeing a revamped version of Siege. With a new anti-cheat, new graphics, clean look and feel. So I was on the fence about making this video. I wasn't sure that was going to be real, but after seeing these screenshots, I am pretty convinced that we are going to be seeing a new Siege game coming out. It could be right at the end of the major, or it could be later in the 2025 or even 2026, but we'll see. If screenshots like this already exist, then I'd assume the game is pretty much fully developed and ready to go. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Just want to make this a quick video to get the info out. Next week, I'm going to be making another in-depth guide on how to win more matches based on what operators you pick, and specifically operators that are really underrated in my opinion. So stay tuned for that. Been working really hard on the channel and some other big projects, and I'll keep you guys updated. Anyways, thanks for watching, Picklers. Stay tuned, stay briny, and I will see the Pickle Army in the next video. Peace, Picklers.